As you're sitting there, your arm starts to mysteriously rise up on its own. It reaches over and scratches the tip of your nose. You didn't mean to do that. Why is this happening to you? Perhaps the government put a chip in your brain. It makes sense. They've been trying to control you for years. Sound familiar? I can tell by your response that perhaps this isn't very familiar to you at all. Limbs don't just move on their own. And even if they did, you never concoct such a bizarre explanation, being the reasonable, rational person that you are, right? But don't be so fast. Perhaps you have experienced something like this in a dream. I'm a philosopher who's been studying the theory and science of dreaming for around 10 years, and I've recently discovered a new use for dreaming. While you may think that dreams give you some kind of knowledge about yourself, I've come to the opposite conclusion. I think they're far better at telling you about what it's like to be someone else. While you're asleep, nearly anything can happen to you. You could have a dream that's just like your waking life, or it could be very, very weird. You could inhabit a different body, even be someone else. Importantly, dreams can be a virtual reality delusion simulator. And this can help you learn about what it's like to be someone who's different from you and empathize with others. But first, we have to discard this view that to dream is to know thyself. Decoding dreams may take up a whole aisle of your local bookstore. Aren't they the key to understanding the human soul? Why did all my teeth fall out in my dream last night? What does it mean? According to my dream decoder, it means I'm suffering from anxiety. I have been a little anxious lately. I wonder why. To me, that sounds about as accurate as using a horoscope to tell you who to sleep with. A similar thing can be said about using dreams to unleash your creative genius. It turns out the dreams of the hyper-creative people are no more interesting than anyone else's. In fact, you could refer to most dreams as cognitive trash, random associations and impressions, pretty meaningless. But if that's the case, what are they good for? Well, they can put you into the shoes of someone else, the shoes of someone with mental illness. So I'm going to try to convince you that, on one hand, dreaming can be a very realistic virtual reality in some situations. And then I'm going to show you how some dreams can be delusional. One morning, I woke up and I pondered the deep existential question: how many bananas do I have left? So I descended the stairs to check the fruit bowl. And when I got there, I found there were no more than 2 bananas remaining. Amazing. Satisfied that I finally knew the truth, I went back to bed and fell asleep. Later, I woke up again and thought to myself, did I really just check my bananas before? So I went down the stairs again and I checked my fruit bowl again, and I found there were 3 bananas all along. It was all a dream, like the Wizard of Oz. Well, not really like the Wizard of Oz. My dream was really boring and pretty pointless. But what is interesting about that dream is how realistic it was. My dream bedroom was a really accurate replica of my real bedroom, a virtual reality so convincing that I actually had to check my bananas to see if it had happened. This is just one reason I think we have to believe that dreams can be very realistic. Perhaps you've had one of these false awakenings before yourselves. Have you ever gotten up and started one of your boring daily tasks, only to really get up later and go, oh, I have to start it all over again? And you've wasted some dream time, right? Dreams can be very realistic. They can replicate all of the senses, even taste, smell, and the feeling of your body moving in space. They can be a realistic virtual reality simulation, but most of the ones you remember are probably pretty weird. And it's these ones that I find particularly important. They can really put you into the body of someone experiencing delusions or psychosis. Why is this important? Well, first-hand experience can give you a type of knowledge that you couldn't have gained otherwise. They can also help you empathize with those who are different from you. We can all empathize with bodily illness and injuries. We all know pain and discomfort. If I was to take this blade and to jam it in my hand right now, you might involuntarily wince. Did I get anyone? No, I don't think it is. Anyway, that's empathy for you. But for many of us, mental illness is just harder to empathize with. People with depression are sometimes told to just get over it. You'd never say that to someone with a broken leg. Research does show that we lack empathy for mental illness, and this hasn't improved much in the past few decades, despite efforts to improve awareness. Maybe awareness just isn't enough to give us empathy, and perhaps the further away from a regular experience someone's life is, the more difficult it is for us to empathize with them. Researchers have had some success in using virtual reality to improve empathy in a few domains. An example of this is that domestic abusers will show increased empathy towards their victims when they are the victim in a virtual reality. So I think we can say that virtual realities, using current technology, is quite useful in increasing empathy. But of course, there are some limitations. I don't think that virtual reality can really give us an accurate representation of what it's like to have certain delusions and psychosis. But dreams can. In a dream, you might be the one that's losing their grip on reality. Perhaps in a dream, you've felt like a passive observer. Maybe you've seen things happen around you. Maybe you've even looked down from above with no intention or interaction. Perhaps you felt paralyzed and unable to escape some threat. Or maybe you felt like your body was moving on its own. These are very common reports in dreams. And to me, it sounds a lot like passivity symptoms that some people with schizophrenia experience. Perhaps you felt like an external source had come into your body and controlled it, and maybe you even knew what the source was, some god or demon. This sounds a lot like alien limb syndrome. That's when you feel like your body is being controlled by an external source. I'm going to show you a couple of reports. One is from a dream report, and the other is from a waking person with schizophrenia. Let's see if you can tell which one is the dream and which one is the report from schizophrenia. I felt like an automaton, guided by a female spirit who had entered me during my arm movement. I feel a she-devil's mind take over mine, and I struggle. She laughs and lays me down. Can you tell which is which? In this example, the second one is the dream, and the first one is the person with schizophrenia. If you weren't too sure, I'm in the same boat as you. In fact, I think that dreamer has had the experience of alien limb syndrome, even though she's never actually had it when she was awake. Perhaps you've talked to someone in a dream. Very common. All of those voices are in your head. There's no one there, of course. But maybe you've had an experience in which there were voices coming from what felt like inside your head. Here's another dream report. I remember saying to Connie something like, Do you hear that voice too? And she said, yes. It was a voice in my head, or a voice that only the two of us could hear that was telling me the future. Hearing voices is also a very common symptom of schizophrenia. Dreams can replicate a whole variety of disorders and delusions. That person over there, she looks like a stranger, but she's actually your mother in disguise. And the man you came here with looks like your father, but he's an imposter, an alien sent to observe human behavior. These kind of misidentification delusions happen very often in dreams, and they're very similar to some misidentification delusions in waking. The last one is known as Capgras delusion, in which you believe your loved ones have been replaced by imposters. Dreams can replicate a whole variety of different disorders. You might have false memories, and you might confabulate around how you got those memories in a dream. This can be very similar to the false memories and confabulations of people with Alzheimer's or dementia. My dog is turning into a dragon again. I wish he'd stop doing that. You might even be someone else in a dream. Perhaps you have a different gender, different memories, different personality. You could have a different job. I refer to these as vicarious dreams. What is it like to feel your body move on its own? What is it like to talk to the voices that only you can hear? To recognize someone, but know they're really someone else in disguise. To be someone else. What is it like to see bizarre things happen all around you and to just pass them off as commonplace? In your dreams, you know what it's like. So perhaps you've experienced delusions after all. But to learn from them, we have to be able to memorize them. I'm going to give you a few tips to help you improve your memory. Despite what many people think, nearly all of us have multiple dreams per night. We just forget the vast majority of them. Next time you're starting to drift off, repeat in your mind, I will remember my dreams. It works. When you wake up, write down or record what you actually do remember. This will improve your recollection of the previous dream and increase the chances that you'll remember the next one. And if you're technologically savvy, there's a whole bunch of apps that you can download onto your smartwatch or phone that can help you with the recording process. For the next level of complexity, you could try lucid dreaming. That's when you realize that you're dreaming within the dream. To achieve this, though, you have to become more aware of your waking scenario. It sounds difficult, but it's not. Lucidity just means that you come to realize whether or not you're waking or asleep. How often do you question your reality? Could you be sleeping right now? How would you know? Simply thinking this way will increase your chances of having a lucid dream. But the next level is to try some reality tests. And I'll try some with you right now. Okay. Now look around you. Can't tell if anyone's actually looking around them. Do what I say. What would the room around you look like if this was a dream? Look at your hand. Touch it. Does it feel and look real? Now, most of you have a program around your neck. So convenient. Have a look at the text on it. Does it look stable? If you are dreaming, it might be shifting around in front of your eyes. Now, try levitating. Try harder! No luck? Congratulations. You're probably awake. But now you're both awake and lucid. Get lucid as often as you can during the day, and it both increases your chance of becoming lucid in a dream and increases the likelihood that you remember your dream. This means that you're more likely to remember a bizarre dream or a delusional dream, and you can reflect on these experiences and use them to empathize with others. Most people wake up and think, "Ugh, that was weird," only to discard their bizarre dream altogether. Instead, realize that this is what some people experience during their waking lives. Think about what it's like to be them. Use your dreams. They're a virtual reality simulation of what it's like to have mental illness. Use this information to empathize with others. You can forget what the self-help books say. Dreams can't tell you about your secret desires or abilities, but they can give you something just as important, a window into the lives of others. The next time you're sitting on the train and someone next to you starts to talk to themselves, don't change seats. Remember, you've probably talked to the voices in your head too.